Getting it anyway. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Grow Yourself in New Zealand Home Buying Tips. I'm Julie, and Marianne will be joining us shortly. Fingers crossed, Marianne will be able to catch up on time. But the most important thing is you will get home safely. She's on her way. And it's good to hear she's good and the family is okay now because I know it's winter season. It's the flu or cold or sickness season. So, to everyone listening to us or watching us right now, please look after yourself. Have lots of vitamin C, especially. Eat plenty of fruits. Whew, as if I'm doing that. I'm not really. But I am taking a supplement, of course, quite a few magnesium, vitamin C, fish oil, and number one is Hemohim of Atomy. Right. Hey, we all long for a place to call home, right? And I am in a place I call home myself. A place or a space where we are free to be ourselves. No one will kind of, kung sa Ilonggo pa, munuhon ka. How do you say it in English? Like you feel ashamed or shy to do something yourself, especially if you are just sharing or renting or even sharing with your family. It's still different, especially if you have your family of your own. Oops, let's welcome now my buddy. Here she is. Hey, good to see you again.
Sorry, running late, ate.
No, just right on
Alright.
time. I've just started like a minute or 2 minutes ago. Yeah,
Hi,
yeah.
everyone. Sorry, you keep on missing, becoming busier.
So
Busier and busier.
true. And as I have said to our audience just a while ago, just before you popped in, that I'm pretty sure everything's going well now with your family because you're able to join me again today.
Yeah, so lately, Celestine, I think it's the winter period. Like Celestine's been coughing, and then someone like Steven have not have enough sleep, and then me, and apparently me, I just received a text message ate because I've been having very bad headaches lately for the past weeks. And then I had to go for my routine checkup. I usually do it every year, but then I went to do my blood test, and apparently my iron again is really low. So maybe that's why.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
Ian.
Yep.
Hey, our
Anyway.
episode today
Mhm.
is and kind of probably let's say a part two of the renovation. We've discussed this a few weeks or probably a couple of months ago about
Mhm.
home renovation. And we're going to give some insights and tips as well when you're doing big and simple renovations. What are the do's and the don'ts, of course. I don't think
Yeah.
we have given some tips before, a little bit of tips probably
Correct.
last time. And you were on your home renovation. And of course,
Yay.
myself, I keep on doing simple and some big renovations as well, even
Yes.
now. So fingers crossed my next project will be oh good. I'll give you a hint later.
Oh
Let
my
me just
golly, is that gonna be another major one, ate?
yeah, kind
Oh my
kind of,
gosh.
kind of. Nice.
Oh.
We're back again to give them some tips. Oh, by the way, just a quick recap on what we had last week. We had tips from the Barfoot and Thompson agents. You missed that out.
Oh, so
Um,
is it Dev and
and Andrew, our agent,
yes.
when we bought this house. So we've talked about is the rent to own scheme still possible?
Yeah.
And they themselves haven't even heard of it. And for
Oh,
us as well, we just hear it from other people, but we haven't experienced, we haven't even encountered or met an agent to have done that. And even you yourself, you haven't heard of
yes.
that.
I think it's a thing back in the Philippines, Ate, right? I think what's complicating it in New Zealand is that because you know how volatile in the property market here in New Zealand, and I think when it comes to doing a rent to own, kind of like affects the flow of the interest rates of how much you can actually charge your tenants. So I think that's the reason why it is quite complicated here in New Zealand. But I think I know though that some people before has heard about rent to own. And I'm not sure if it's similar to what Kainga Ora said done before, but mostly I think the
Ah,
only people are more knowledgeable or more informed about the Kainga Ora kind of like half ownership, like shared ownership. That's
mm,
the
mm.
only thing. So they will help you with payment and they'll also help. So pretty much, but it gives you that period of how much you can only like that they will help you and then you can buy it off from them. The less
Ah.
the yeah, the remaining kind of share. But not really rent to
Anyway,
own.
our focus tonight is about the big and small renovation. What are you allowed by the council and what you cannot do straight away without consent.
Yes.
So as what I've mentioned in the beginning, when you feel like you are at home in your own place, especially when you have your family, when you have your partner already here, you don't feel so good when you are sharing with other, especially with other people back home. You know how common it is to share with family members even if you are
Yeah.
starting your own life. But then, because I've experienced that myself, I got married at an early age and lived with my family and then moved to my husband's family. And
Yeah.
it's different if it's not your own. So when we move here to New Zealand, we feel like, oh, this is our life. But then we were also sharing. So us couple, we are sharing the accommodation in the farm with two other farm workers. So it's still
Yeah.
like we're almost always stuck in our own room
Yeah.
because you're just looking at waiting for someone to finish their own cooking in the kitchen before you
Oh
will
yeah.
go out and do your own thing as well. You've experienced that too.
Yeah, well, kind of, you know how everyone is knowledgeable or know, you guys all know that me and Steven lives with our family
Ah,
as
yes.
well. So because my husband is also Asian, so it's typical like a Filipino one. But pretty much with our auntie, she's very very cool. She's the one who always kind of wait for us to finish because we've got two kids, and then
Oh,
and then
okay.
she or sometimes what she does is that the ate, what she does is that she cooks her dinner way before even me and Steven comes home, so that she already
Mm.
reheat it when the dinner time. But I
Oh, yeah.
do know how you feel at it because I also did when I first arrived here. I also did flatting, and you kind of like get stuck on your bed, your bedroom, and you feel
Yeah.
like, oh no.
Yeah. Although you are told, oh, feel free to use this and that, but it's still
Yeah,
different if it's not your own. And that's
that's
why
true.
when we have our own place, and okay, going back to you have your own place, yet you're renting. You know how
Yes,
restricted you are in putting some hooks or
yes,
repainting or
yes,
moving this stuff in that, because it's still not your own when you're renting.
yes,
Even when
yes.
gardening, I love gardening. I have to ask permission from the owner whether it's okay for me to change this setup to the
Yeah.
layout, things like that. But I was just fortunate that the owners are happy for me to to their property because a garden adds value to one's
Value,
property.
yes. That's so true.
So I was like that already when we were renting. I love
Mm.
gardening, so every time I leave that house that we've rented, they are really happy because really neat and tidy when we move in.
Yes.
I am a fuzzy cleaner, and so I think I am just giving back the credit to my habit before, like how you look
Yes.
after someone else's property, and that's why we were given our own property. But if you
Yes.
are someone who doesn't care for other people's stuff, I don't think you can get your own. You get what I mean?
Yes, yes, ate. And I think like a lot of I think for me, I'm very proud. When I was in real estate, I know that Filipinos are well known to look after houses that they rent.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud about hearing those stories because I've sold some properties that are investment properties, and then they were like, oh, you know what, we don't actually want to sell it because our tenants are very good, they're
Mm,
Filipinos too, they will tell me because they know that I'm Filipino, and then they'll be like, oh, they really looked after the house, but actually before we even contacted you to sell this, I asked them if they want to buy it. And that's what's good at it. Because if the same thing as what you have felt, you know, how you looked after that house, the house that you're renting, if ever that owner of the house is willing, like planning of selling it, you will be the
Mm.
very first one to be asked, you know, like if you want to buy it. Because at the end of the day, you've got the best chances, because there's a reason why you rented that place. There, it might be the convenience, you know, and the amenities around it. And I think that's what's a great tip at it, like what you did. Look after your, you know, your tenanted property, and you get the chance, like what you said, you get the chance to buy your own as well, so it will be given to you.
Yeah, yeah, like a blessing as well.
Yes, it goes
If you
back.
can be trusted with little things, then big things will be entrusted to you. I've read
That's
that
so true.
somewhere in the Bible too. Anyway,
Yes.
when you're having your own home now, like I have my own, I was told by my husband, don't add some more. Let's just leave it as it is, and we're going to sell. But then you want to feel, you want to be comfortable in your own place, and so I was like, oh, let's add this one so we won't get wet. Let's add this so we will have like an extra space at the back, and voila. Look at my place now. It's like it keeps on extending. But yeah, this is what I'm saying. Renovation, home renovation, and it wasn't done overnight. Of course, you need money and you need
Yes.
preparation, including the consent that you will be needing.
Yes. Yes. And I just want to share, Ate, I know that your house is currently a cross lease. And I
Mhm.
was what actually was one thing when you say that you're planning of something, you know, something new. I'm like, is this gonna be bigger? Like, I think for me, if I buy, because me and Steven, that's our second ideal property. So aside from freehold, of course, that's the most the highest form of ownership here. But if it's a cross lease, I would want to find a house which is cross lease that's half a share of someone that I will get along with, because in the future you can actually convert it to a full, you know, freehold. So I'm like thinking, is Ate gonna convert it her cross lease to
Ah,
freehold?
oh, but I've already inquired about that, and it will take
Okay.
me quite a lot of bucks. Maybe in the future. Let's see how it goes after another 5 years. But I'm also
Okay.
considering. Now,
Yes.
going back to home renovation. By the way, disclaimer: we are not
Yes.
Hey, Mary Ann is an expert, I would say. I am an expert, probably a homeowner,
Of
because
experience DIY.
experience and then observations and a lot of chat
Mm,
with different people,
mm,
professionals. They are
mm,
not
mm,
ordinary people. So we're just
mhm.
mainly sharing this. We still advise you to go and talk to a certain professional that you need to contact. Let's say, for
Yes.
example, when talking about home renovations, you need to contact the certified plumber, certified electricians, architect if necessary. I've spoken
Yes.
to not exactly the architect but the wife of the architect, yeah, a colleague of mine before. So it's quite pricey when you plan a big project and you have it done by an architect first to do the planning and layout and everything, and not even the building yet, it's just the plan.
Yes.
Geez, it will cost you 30K, but it depends again on the size. But don't
Yeah.
expect it to be cheap, especially here in New Zealand. Now, what are we talking about when we talk about small renovations? What are small renovations?
More innovations. Maybe a little bit of tidying up with the deck. But once it goes at a certain size, then you'll have to have consent, or a certain height, then you'll have to have consent. But maybe
Yeah.
those tiny deck. I don't think your the size of your deck at it that doesn't need consent. But I know that I have
Oh, the
sold a
deck was
house in
already here. The deck was
the deck
already set
good.
up when we
Yes.
moved.
But I
Yeah.
think that size is fine. But I
Oh,
remember that I sold a house in Clark's Beach, and because that house is elevated, so
the
they
height.
built, yeah, so they built a deck that's overlooking the beach, you know, and it's a
Oh,
360 degree of the golf course and the beach.
wow.
Remember that out there? I think you might remember that, the one that's
No. Sorry.
that has so much unconsented, oh, so much unconsented. But I sold it eventually, and then but I know that one of the questions a lot of buyers have asked me is that if the deck is consented, and I know that it is consented, but I think it is not up to the standard of the current one. So
Mm.
the current building act.
Ah, the current one, of course, in the past, then that's probably okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
So there's a
small.
lot of things. What else
Yeah.
more?
Ah, it's good to hear that you were still able to sell it, but then in most cases, it's quite
It
hard to
is
sell.
hard because at the like as a buyer, so if there are a lot of Arkababayans who are planning to buy houses who doesn't have any idea of consented and unconsented work, if there are unconsented works on the houses that you are trying to purchase, then the banks won't lend you money.
Mm,
So
yep,
that's
I've
why
experienced that.
that's one ate. Yeah, so you've kind of like already limited your buyers,
Yeah.
pool of buyers, because pretty much you have to cut out all those buyers who are borrowing money from the bank. So pretty
Mhm.
much my audience now went into, you know, like cut off in the half to those people who are cash buyers. So it means that they have cash to pay me instead of borrowing money from the bank.
So technically, the downside of having a lot of unconsented
Renovations.
renovations
Yeah.
is limiting the chances of you selling it. But anyway, other small renovations I would say are fences and garden shed. It's a small renovation which usually don't really need consent unless, like what Marianne has said, there's a limit, a requirement. Say if it's a garden shed, it should not be over 10 square meter
Mm.
as much as I know. So if it's a small one, especially if it's a ready one to, it's movable, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
okay. Fences, not over 2.5. So
Yes.
2.5 is generally okay.
The
Our one
standard.
is
Yeah.
actually around 2 meters, so it's quite low. And that's why recently we had a stranger just decided to hop over
I
our fence
know.
and roam around. No,
I
slept in
saw
our
that. Oh my god.
outside toilet. And then the police officer advised us to maybe uh, change our fence to put it
Higher.
a little bit higher. But then it's quite expensive. I've already inquired. It will cost me
Can you
around
put those spikes?
yeah, I asked that one, but I was saying, is it illegal to put up those barbed wires? And the police officer was the one who said, no, it shouldn't be because it's like you're
Yeah.
protecting your own life,
Yes.
or like right now. But before, I think that was not okay, and that's why we've decided to have roses at the back. If you have noticed that, so it's a
Oh
double
yes, the
purpose.
thorns.
Yes, and I'm kind of planting around it, so hopefully we will be surrounded with thorns.
I was just
Anyway,
wondering, I was like, imagine if you just put the skin of a durian, a durian skin. Like,
oh yeah, but we don't have durian here. It can't even get in New
in
Zealand.
New Zealand. Ah,
Another
funny.
thing, another small renovation would be cabinetry. If you have noticed at
Yes,
the back of me, that's the one that I
yeah,
have renovated a couple of years ago.
those
And
shelvings.
yeah, because it will add well, if it's done properly, then it will add value.
Yeah.
Plus, it also reflects your personality because that's me. And that is if you have your own home, you want it to reflect like yourself.
Yes, yes.
And
What else?
with that one, it's okay, no need of consent. But then when
Yes,
you change the plumbing, say for example, cabinetry in your kitchen, and the plumbing needs to change,
you
then
have to have consent because you're
have
gonna touch services. Yes, ate. Um, with our kitchen though, as long as though, so you'll have to have a proper plumber so that no, they know what they're doing. You will only need consent if you're moving it to a different spot. So that means you will have to reconnect something. So
yeah.
that needs to have consent. It has to be checked. You know, up to the standard of New Zealand Building Act, and then even at the even so anything that's fixed within the house when you purchase or when it was built. If you're changing something, actually, you know, like stairs, it's actually you need to have consent with
Ah,
stairs.
even
Yes.
stairs. And I've heard even the internal walls or the
Yes.
beams. I don't want to
Yes.
touch the walls and the beams.
Yes, it needs to have consent. So aside from, like, I remember that same. So I'm giving that as an example. That same house that I sold in Clark's Beach
Mm.
is because it was in the original plan when I ordered the property
Yeah.
file. On the property file, it's a spiral staircase.
Oh.
And then when I listed the property is a proper standard stairs. So I had to check. I learned so much with that property out there. So I had to
Oh.
check, talk to council. Council had to answer a lot of my questions because I don't want to get in trouble, like if I sell it.
Yeah. Because
And
it's going to be
council,
under your listing. And if you're
yes. And
stating false statement, then.
yes,
Mm.
and I am still liable for any misleading things that I actually advertise or tell our buyers up to 10 years, I think, up to 10 years. So even if I
Oh.
left, yeah, so even if I left real estate, if I have
Mm.
done something like a misconduct in everything within that 5 years or up to 10 years, I think, our my buyer is still able to kind of complain against me, and then it will be also still my previous agency will still be also liable for that.
Oh,
So I
jeez.
cannot get away with it. Yes, I cannot get away with it. So if I
Yeah.
do something wrong, and so when I was selling that house, I was very careful of every statement I tell my buyers, and I have to put it everything on paper, on proof, text messages, emails, so that if in any case there will be a complaint against me, and everything is
Mm.
documented, and they can't find anything. So with that, I was very transparent with all the buyers. The staircase is not permitted. It was actually
Mm.
moved like 5 feet away
But
from where it was before and stuff like that.
um, so you need to know the history when you're selling a house. But
Yes.
how did you explain it to the buyer when you've said that it's unconsented? Did you assure them that it was done by a licensed building practitioner or a licensed plumber?
Well,
Or
you can, so as an agent, ate, and this is what I love about what I do. I'm very passionate about explaining everything. So as an agent, I had to make sure to tell them first is the disclaimer. The
mm,
vendor has confirmed with me that this is up to the standard of a proper building, a builder,
mm.
but I don't have any documents and proof to show you that that's actually true.
Oh, okay.
So you are liable. I give all the things up to you to
Due
do your own due
diligence.
diligence.
Mm.
Yes. So
So they can bring their own license, the LBP to check and everything like that.
yes.
Eh?
So how I sold that house at it is that everything is on the contract. I have to be like bam, 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 all the information,
Ah,
due diligence and everything. I suggest for you to talk to, the proper engineers and
yeah.
everything, local council and everything to check everything. But these are all the documents that the vendor
Yes.
has provided and the council has provided. So when it was the time that the DD time, the conditional period. So
Yeah.
because it wasn't sold like if you're selling a house that is unconsented, you'd rather put it on a condition negotiation so that there will be enough time for buyers to really do their due diligence. So what happened was that buyer brought in all the proper people, like
Oh,
geotechnical
yeah.
engineer, yeah, like
Oh,
everyone,
wow.
recheck the
Explains a lot.
boundaries because
Yes.
yes, and I was very lucky, and I'm so thankful to Papa God that he actually gave me he to be very fair, in my 3 years in real estate, he gave me such good buyers and such good
Yeah.
vendors. Really good. So I
Hey, when are
enjoyed
you
it.
going back? Maybe just doing it part time.
I know. I actually miss it, but then I'm like, oh, I cannot, I cannot give up my Sundays to the Lord.
Oh, fair enough.
Yes.
Moving on. What are the tips that we can share with you? Of course, we've already started giving you tips that you can still do your projects if you want to, but then again, you've got to consider the consequence, especially when you decide to sell it in the future. In our case now, I've been doing a lot of projects, and we are not planning to sell our house at the moment. We're going to use it as an investment. We'll just buy another property. Right. Always check with the council. And I did that. And by the way, there's also a Filipino who works in the council. He's an engineer from, I think,
Oh,
Dubai. Yeah. So in case you need his information, if you want to ask, his
yes.
daughter is a friend of my daughter. And oh, I'm not sure if he's still in the council though, because recently now he's in the Philippines. But he has a lot of ideas if you need guidance on how to get the papers done. But the paper is so tedious, and the amount of money you will really have to prepare for it. But he also advised me that if you're not selling it anyway, why would you?
Consent.
He was the one who kind of
From me, ate, to be very honest, guys, it's disclaimer. This is not me as a real estate agent, but as long as the works that you've done can easily be removed if you want to sell it.
oh
So,
yeah.
meaning, yes, and if you remove it, it won't damage the main dwelling. So it won't damage anything. So as long as it's done, it can still be sold. So your agent will be putting that on paper that this is unconsented, but vendors are happy to remove it professionally if the buyers would want
And one more
to.
thing, if you need to have it done, always choose the professional one, especially if it's big
Yes,
project.
of course.
Certified electrician, and we keep on emphasizing this because we don't want our properties to be turned into ashes, and certified plumber as well. So for me, other stuff can be done by anyone else, but major plumbing and electrical wiring, it has to be certified. Hey, my
Yes.
son is already a certified electrician, so I might
Wow.
just tapping him every now and then. I It can save me a lot. So
Yes.
in case you need some help, if it's just a minor thing, I can ask him to just give it for free.
Good. Yay. Oh, you can advertise
Very
it with our kababayans in here.
Yes, yes. So that's a good thing here with our kababayan. If we have new professionals in the area who just want to give back to the community while they're building their career as well. So yeah,
Yes.
he's going to be offering it for free for simple tasks. And for big tasks, he needs to make a design and then tap his colleagues as well. So that would entail quite a few resources. Now,
Yes.
that's pretty much it, I would say.
Another
Uh,
minor. Minor is like painting. You don't need consent about repainting your house.
No, sometimes I just do it myself. It doesn't look nice, but at
Yeah.
least it doesn't really, yeah. But at a distance, it looks okay. My work, it looks okay. But getting closer to what I've done, I was like, oh, not so good, but that's fine. Anyway, I did it myself. Another thing, of course, when you are cross lease, when your property is cross lease, always check with your neighbors. And I check with my neighbors.
Yes.
I think I'm just uh, thankful that my neighbors didn't reply.
There, right? Like you have a sleep out.
Yeah.
So with a
Oh,
sleep
that's
out, right? You
yeah. It's
need
removable,
unlit.
so I
Yes,
don't
of
know. I
course.
can sell that anytime with
Yes.
I
Like you know,
take
at the you know how because me and Steven looked into buying a tiny house and then you put it at the back
yeah.
of the house, like those
Mm,
tiny houses. And then I know that if you buy it, as long as it's not connected, of course, with the services, then you don't need the consent. But if you want it to have a proper working, really good toilet and shower,
yeah.
because the tiny houses they will have shower, but they kind of just connect, but it doesn't
Hmm.
have like a proper, like they have the what's that at it, the echo something pooping thingy, like the ones that.
Oh yeah, I've checked that out too, but I don't think it's allowed here in our area. Maybe
Oh,
in
yes.
areas, rural area where you have
Yes,
enough
those
space and
ones.
they can dig from the soil, I think from the ground, and then I don't know. I
Yes.
don't know how it's done, but it's possible
Yeah.
outside. Here, not so.
Yeah. Yeah, so I saw that, and then and I was like, oh, okay. And then you just need a consent for. I love going to those tiny house show something. You know those
Showroom.
Auckland show? No, not showroom. You know how when those
No?
the expos, the tiny house
Ah,
expo, and there are
oh yeah.
so many good designers in there, ate. And then yeah, and then they can do everything for you. They'll be the one who's applying for consent and everything. You
Oh,
pretty much just
okay.
yes, you just pretty much
So
wait for it.
it's like you just buy your own section and buy that the tiny
Yes,
home and everything will be done. That would be very cheap then.
yes,
Maybe I can do
because
that.
the cheapest ate that I found, and I was so in love with that, is a two-bedroom with a very
Oh,
open. It's almost the same size as your house, ate, and it was like 200,000.
and everything's
So
done, included,
yes,
including the
yeah.
consent.
So I think you only have to pay for the council if you have a land, then 200,000 for the main dwelling. But then if you buy, let's just say you bought a section for 150, then that's plus the 200. But I
Yeah,
think the consent is between 50,000 to 100,000. So about
that was still
500K, you
cheap.
have a house.
Yeah, my house and the lot at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
I'll greatly consider that, especially for my retirement home. I
I think
want a
maybe
smaller
next
home.
I think maybe next time, next tiny house show expo, we should go and do a live.
Oh yes, yes. Let me know. I'm really up,
Right?
and I'll go with you. Sure, let's do it
It's
together then.
so,
Oh, that is really
yes,
exciting.
it's so
Thanks for
good.
bringing that up. But there you go, everyone. Renovation is really exciting, especially if it's your own home and you have the money and you have good plans. But in my case, when I renovate, it's definitely for a purpose and not just, to suit myself. It's you have to look at the ROI, return of investment as well. That's why I always have a clash with my husband because like stop adding projects, save it for another house. But I was like, no, this will have a return of investment because I'm renting out the rooms, right? And yeah, we're enjoying it.
It's good.
Thanks so much for staying with us and keep on learning,
Yes.
especially when you want to grow your family here in New Zealand and you want to establish your life here with property and not just one
Yeah.
properties. Future, of course. It's
Yeah.
possible when you work hard, when you keep growing yourself. And a few words from you.
Thank you. Yes, well, thank you so much, guys. And I'm so sorry that I'm so, like bam bam bam, come back and everything. But very, very thankful for the support that you and everyone are doing, and supporting me and Ate with this show. And it's been like, how many episodes are we, Ate?
Oh,
Like more
this
than
is already
80?
the 81,
81st.
81st.
Yes.
Wow.
So thank you
We're
so
going to
much,
make it to
guys.
100. Thank you
Thank you
for
so
bearing with
much.
us. Thank you for sticking with us. And update tomorrow, another podcast on what settle, shine, and succeed, a roadmap for migrants with Regine. And we will be discussing about the New Zealand culture and the social norms. So this is an exciting topic, especially for the newcomers. Say you've been here for 2 years and you probably don't know the New Zealand culture yet. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow. And also on Friday, I only have, as far as I know, one slot left for the webinar for strategies in teaching maths in primary and intermediate. So if you're watching right now and you're interested, let me know. I've got one spot left for you. Thanks so much, Marianne. I'm so happy to have a chat with
Thanks,
you again. Like
Ate.
I missed you.
Thank you,
See
Ate.
you
We should
soon.
definitely go to the tiny house
Yes,
expo.
yes. Let me know. Bye,
Thank you. Thanks,
everybody.
guys.